Hi guys, welcome back if you're a returning subscriber, and welcome in if you are new. This is Case by Case and I am Casey, and today I will be reviewing season 1 episode 2 of 1,000-Pound Roomies. Okay, I have a lot to say, so without further ado, let's get right into the review. Okay, so I'm going to be looking down at my notes as well, if you see me looking down. And so the show opens up pretty much where we left off at the end of season 1, episode 1, with Jazz on the scale. And then we find out her actual weight. And so Jazz weighs in at 630 pounds. And then the doctor asks pretty much, so is this what you expected? And then Jazz says no. Not at all. Because again, remember in season 1, episode 1, Jazz thought she was between 500 to 600 pounds when she did the life expectancy test with her friend Melinda. And so, yeah, she was a little off. She's actually 630 pounds. So they go back to the office after Jazz gets off the scale, and then her doctor lets her know that if she wants to get weight loss surgery, she would have to lose 130 pounds, and that she would have to be closer to 500 pounds in order to qualify for weight loss surgery. And so the goal for Jazz would be then to lose 130 pounds. Nisha says, that's a whole person in the office, child. She was like, that's a whole person. Then I said Nisha shouldn't have said nothing at all, because then Jazz diverted the conversation to Nisha. Jazz asks if Nisha does this, and when she says that, she means weight loss surgery. Will she have to lose weight as well before surgery? And then Nisha, she was like, no, Jazz, this is your doctor's appointment. We're not here for me, pretty much. This is all about you. And then she was like, pretty much, if I wanted to get some options for me, I would have made myself a doctor's appointment. But it was already too late, because the conversation had diverted to Nisha. Doctor asked Nisha, so when was the last time that you were weighed? Nisha said recently. Jazz asked what was her weight. And then Nisha said 425 pounds. 425 pounds. And then Nisha says that she's pretty much not with getting surgery. Like, that's not an option for her. She would much rather just do it the natural route. But what she will do is she will go on a diet with Jazz and do it that way. Okay, and then so the next scene, it's morning time. I don't know if it's the next day. It's probably not the next day. But it's morning time, and Nisha and Jazz are like in the kitchen just dancing, having a good time. And Nisha is making like a big old breakfast. And then after the dance party and everything, Jazz was like, we need to weigh ourselves. And then Nisha pretty much doesn't want to get on the scale. She doesn't want to weigh herself. And then Jazz says we need to weigh ourselves pretty much to see where we're at and to get a starting point for our weight loss journey. And Nisha just kept on making excuses. And then Jazz asks Nisha, do you honestly want to lose weight? Nisha says that she does. She just doesn't want to be like stuck on the scale all the time. And Jazz pretty much said, well, then if you are serious about losing weight, then you at least would need like a starting point to know, where you began at versus where you end up at. And Nisha said when her chin starts to go down, that's how she'll know she's losing weight, once her chin gets smaller. And Nisha brought up that Jazz has help and that Nisha doesn't have any help. And at first I thought she meant like Jazz has Nisha to help her, but she didn't mean it like that. She further explains, and what she means by Jazz having help, she means that she's been taking weight loss shots. And to me, that was just another cop out, because honestly, if Nisha was to get a doctor's appointment and then tell the doctor that she wanted to lose weight as well. I'm pretty sure that at her weight, they would probably prescribe her weight loss shots as well. So that was just another cop out and an excuse to me. At this point, to me, it just seems like Nisha wants, I wouldn't even say wants, she says she wants to lose weight, but it's not as serious as Jazz. And it seems like she just wants zero accountability during this weight loss journey. And to me, it's like she's already setting herself up for failure. And Jazz has been taking the shot for about a month. And she says it's been working really well at helping decrease her appetite. And after she weighs herself, she finds that she has lost 40 pounds already. So that's really great. She says it's actually not a lot in comparison to what she needs to lose. So she was kind of like beating herself up about it because she knows she still has like a long way to go. So she lost 40. And then Nisha says 40 pounds is good, and that she wish she had lost 40 pounds. And so she's like trying to encourage Jazz. During this time, Jazz also lets Nisha know that her grandmother is having a Sunday dinner, a Sunday family dinner. And she wants Nisha to come with her because she plans on breaking the news to her family that she will be getting weight loss surgery, and she pretty much wants her family's support. And this is really important to her because she is scared about whether or not she will make it after surgery. And if she doesn't make it, she will need her family's support in helping raise her daughter, Nana. She is very apprehensive, which is why she needs support from Nisha, because in the past she has brought up weight loss surgery to her grandmother, and her grandmother said no, pretty much, and she's against it. And then also another reason, it's been a couple of years since she's seen her family, and she's also gained a lot of weight since then. And the reasons why she said that her grandmother was against getting the surgery back in the day was because she felt like Jazz had too much weight on her and that it would be too risky. And then she's also worried about the anesthesia. She just doesn't trust anesthesia, which granted, I know back in the day, the success rate wasn't that high back then when it came to like surgeries and things like that, like cosmetic surgeries. So I understand her grandmother being more skeptical like back in the day, but now I think the success rate is a lot higher, and these surgeries are like second nature to doctors. And so yeah. Another thing that Jazz said, that was like, it kind of made me raise an eyebrow, was that she said everything goes through Big Mom, her grandmother. Jazz pretty much says that the family is ran by her grandmother, and that big decisions are always ran through by her grandmother, and they give her the power pretty much to say no, and then they stick with what she decides. And so that's also another reason why she's apprehensive. And I raised my eyebrow to this because it definitely reminded me of like Soul Food. If you've seen the movie Soul Food from the 90s, like the Big Mom. And in my opinion, the Big Mama in Soul Food was the villain. She was the villain. Yeah. Yeah. And I say she was the villain because I just didn't like her character. In my opinion, she was very controlling. In my opinion, she took a lot of pride in being the glue to the family. Meanwhile, she was like pretty much the author and publisher of all the family dysfunction. And it really didn't care for her. And that's what it was given to me. So yeah. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, Jazz says that her granny pretty much runs everything in the family, and so she feels like she really needs her grandmother's support and approval. And then Nisha. So Nisha is pretty much apprehensive about a Sunday dinner because she's pretty much sworn off anything church related because of her experience with the cult growing up. After that, Nisha pretty much gets mad at Jazz because she didn't finish all of her food. And Jazz didn't finish all of her food because the shots are working and it's suppressing her appetite. Jazz says, every time Nisha cooks, it's like she's cooking for a whole army anyways. And then Nisha pretty much said, I am cooking for a whole army. So she threw a little shot at Jazz. I mean, it was funny. That's how their relationship is. They throw like little funny shots at each other. But yeah, I agree. It was a lot of food. And honestly, she could just save that food for another day. It was a lot. It was too much. Okay, and then the next scene, Nisha is at work. So for work, she has been running an at-home daycare with her mom, and she says she's been doing this for 20 years. But I thought it was cool that she actually went to school to be a makeup artist. And that explains a lot because her makeup is so pretty. It's always done so nicely. So I could definitely see that. I'm a makeup artist because the physical demands of the job. So she's not able to like stand for long periods of time and things like that. The things that the job would require her to do, the demands of the job. And so instead, she's working at a daycare with her mom. She's been doing that for 20 years. And while at work, she tells her mom that she's going to a Sunday dinner with Jazz. Well, she plans to. She's just apprehensive about it. And then she also tells her mom about why she's feeling apprehensive as far as religious tones when it comes to the Sunday dinner. And then her mom asks her, is she mad at the church or is she mad at God? And I'm actually glad that her mom asked that question because it was something that I was wondering as well. And Nisha says that she's not mad at God. She's mad at the church, the code, and the church people. That's who she's mad at. And then Nisha says that she doesn't usually like talking to her mom about this because it usually doesn't go well at all. She said that she feels like whenever she talks to her mom about this, she usually flips it around on her and makes it seem like it's a personal problem that Nisha has. And what Nisha really wants in her heart of hearts pretty much is for her mom to apologize for raising her in this cult. In this moment, she says, Nisha's mom, she says to Nisha, you are 37 years old. You need to get past all of this church hurt and move on with your life. That's what she says to Nisha in this moment. And Nisha says to her in this moment, my age doesn't even matter. Being older doesn't make it easier. And her mom cuts her off and she says, you just have to give it to God. He is the fix all. And in this moment, you could just see Nisha getting triggered. And she says to her mom, God isn't the end all be all. Okay, and so I want to talk about this scene here. It was a lot going on in this scene. And it was kind of hard to watch. Let me look at my notes. It was a lot to watch. Firstly, I want to say that the mom is right, but her delivery is wrong. That she is very dismissive and she lacks accountability. Her bringing up Nisha's age was very condescending, and she's saying things to belittle her daughter pretty much. Watching this, it was like watching a teenager argue with their mom. But it definitely gave me like flashbacks, child, of my teenage years when I was arguing with my mama. Oh, that's probably why it was so hard to watch, because it gave me those flashbacks. But with all that being said, she was correct in the sentiment that Nisha needs to move on. Nisha left the cult at the age of 22 years old. And she's now 37 years old. So 15 years of her life has passed by, and she's like still stuck. And I feel like it's like wreaking havoc on her life. And so, yeah, her mom is right. She does need to move on. It's just the tone in which she said it and the way she just like dismissed what she was saying. That's what was wrong. When Nisha's mom said, God can fix it all, she is correct. I believe that. I'm a strong believer in that. But I just didn't like how dismissive she was about it. God can fix it, but the key is Nisha has to be willing to let it go and surrender it. She's holding on to that hurt for like dear life, and so she has to be willing to surrender it. And honestly, I feel like she's not in that place yet, because she feels invalidated by her mom, and she's just looking for that validation and some absolution. And I feel like her holding on to this hurt is it's giving her a sense of control and like a false sense of protection. Maturing is realizing that you won't always get an apology. You won't always feel validated, and people may never understand your point of view. And sometimes it's out of spite. Sometimes people just refuse to see your point of view. Maturing is doing your part to mend the situation. Maturing is after you've done your part, after you've done all you can, they still haven't come around, dust the sand off your shoes, and you keep on pushing. And you just leave them in God's hand. If you're super mature, you continue to pray for them. We're called to bless our enemies and to pray for those who have mistreated us. And so maturing is blessing your enemies, bless those who curse you. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not always that mature. It wasn't until like this past year that I've been able to like just pray for those who have hurt me, people who have lied on me, backstabbed, all that. It wasn't until recently that I've been able to like pray for them and cover them and sincerely mean it, you know. And so God is still working on me. I'm not done yet. But yeah, that's when I knew I was growing up though. Because I'm like the original bone collector, like I could hold a grudge, but yeah, God is working on me. And so yeah, she has some growing to do, as we all do. I'm not perfect. It's just something that I noticed. But anyways, church hurt is real. I won't even delve too deeply into church hurt. Like, it's 2025. I'm sure we all know where church hurt is, or have heard of church hurt, or experienced it, or seen it for ourselves. Um, I don't want to dismiss. I don't want to dismiss Nisha's feelings and experiences. But she needs to let go and let God. Like, she needs to move on. She's wasted way too much of her life and her time on this. I understand that it hurts, but you got to keep on pushing. And not only for like, I don't even want to say it's for her mom, but it's for herself. She has to keep on moving for herself. It's time for her to move on with her life. So the conversation between Nisha and her mom ends with Nisha's mom telling her that she needs to pretty much rise above and go support her friend Jazz at Sunday dinner. And Nisha agrees to go. So that was good. Next scene, Jazz and Nisha head to a water aerobics class. That's cool. I would love to do water aerobics. I don't know how to swim. I would love to learn how to swim as well. So it's on my list. Jazz actually signed up for the water aerobics class because she's trying to follow her doctor's recommendations and getting more active along with eating better. And so, yeah, she signed up for the water aerobics class to become more active. Jazz gets to the class and she has another panic attack. She's feeling like pressure from people just staring at her. But honestly, like watching it, people were staring, but they were like smiling at her. They actually looked very comforting. It was like a group of seniors. They looked really nice and sweet. And it wasn't any like dirty looks or anything like that. They actually looked like they were like trying to be supportive. And so I think some of that was just in her head. A lot of that was probably just anxiety. And then also, she was feeling pressure because she was worried about falling or hurting herself when she got in the pool. And then one thing that, like, she said that was like, what? She says this is why she stays at home. She doesn't want to be a burden to anybody, and that was like so heartbreaking to hear. That's how she felt. And so I could actually relate to that. Like, there have been times when I went through depressive states and I would just stay at home. And one of the things that I always just say during those times when I would like isolate is like, I don't want to bother anybody, or I don't want to be a burden to anybody. And so those are just excuses that we use when we're isolating ourselves. And so I caught that. I caught what she was saying. And so I feel like that's something that she has been doing, and that's just like an excuse to like continue isolating yourself. The instructor, she was very nice and supporting as well. She came over there with Nisha, and they both encouraged her, and they even offered to like carry her into the pool. And then she eventually did get into the pool, and she was very proud of herself, and they were very proud of her. And she got in the pool and she completed the workout, and so it ended up turning out just fine. The next scene, water aerobics went really well, and so now she's focusing on the dieting portion of it, and so she wants to clean out all the junk that's in the house, all the junk food. And so to help her, she called her vegan friend, which I caught her name now. Her name is Melinda. She called her over to assist with cleaning out the junk food that she has. And so when Melinda started going through the refrigerator and pulling out all the junk food, Nisha started to protest the junk food being taken out. And in protest, she grabbed all the junk food and she took it to her room. And then Nisha and Jazz had like a little bit of a fight over this, because Jazz pretty much felt like Nisha wasn't taking it seriously and she wasn't going on a diet with her like she said she would. The next scene is a brand new day, and we meet Joel. Joel is Nisha's situationship partner. That's what she calls him, her situationship. He came to pick them up and take them to get their hair done. They wanted to get their hair done for Sunday dinner. And Nisha says that they have been in a situationship for 20 years. And Jazz said, no comment. 20 years is a long time. They've been in a situationship for a really long time. And Nisha said something crazy. She said that she loves him enough to let him be in love with somebody else. Like, okay, girl, whatever. And Joel, what he says about the relationship, he said that it's complicated and timing has never been right. I don't really buy it from either one of them. I don't buy it. And then when he pulled up, like, he was kissing her on the cheek and stuff like that. They were joking. They seemed very like relationshipy, and so it was weird. I don't get it. It's very confusing. Yeah, I don't get it. But one thing that he did say that stood out to me was that his mom had weight loss surgery. And then Nisha said that she knows, she remembers. She took both him and his mom to the hospital when she got weight loss surgery. So that was interesting. Jazz said their relationship is confusing. I think it's confusing too. Okay, and so they make it to the salon, and Jazz is worried about fitting in the chair. Honestly, I get it. I'd be worried about fitting in those chairs too. They just don't look stable with a little pole, you know. But they're actually pretty stable. I am also someone who is blessed with some booty, and I too am worried about those chairs, like especially if the mouth of the chair, like the top of it, if it's like narrow, I'm always worried, but I always can fit. And Jazz actually could fit in the chair too, so I was like, okay, but they are sturdy. And she's like, what, 6'30"? Well, she lost 40 pounds, and so if she can fit, yeah, those chairs are actually pretty sturdy, sturdier than they look. They did what us ladies do at the hair salon. They started girl talk, and so they were talking about Sunday dinner. Funny enough, Nisha's hairstylist knew Nisha since she was a little girl. They actually attended that same church, the cult church. And so I was like, wow. So she been knowing this lady for a long time. That's cool that she could like still be her hairstylist for so long. I'm still looking for a hairstylist. I can't keep one. That's another story for another day. Okay, their hairstyles are super cute. Jazz got some crochet boho locks. They were super cute. And then Nisha got a color. She got jumbo box braids, and then she had blue and purple, and then the ends were curly. It was cute. Next thing, they were actually heading to Sunday dinner. Jazz was getting anxious again, pulling up to Sunday dinner, and she was talking about turning around. And then Nisha was like, "Nah, we made it all the way here. Like, we going into Sunday dinner, and you gonna talk to your family." And so they go in, and then in a confessional, Jazz is discussing. In a confessional, Jazz is discussing. Say discussing. In the confessional, Jazz is discussing her relationship with her mom. She said it was a very rocky relationship on her part. She was the one who kind of like fractured their relationship. When she was younger, she was very rebellious, and she used to run away and argue with her mom and do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. And now that she's an adult, she is not like that, of course. And she is closer to her mom, but her mom, has a hard time trusting her just based off of their past. It's unrelated, but Jazz looked just like her grandma. Oh, they twins. I just want to say that. Let me know if y'all think they look just alike too. Oh, and Jazz grandma, she asked Nisha to say grace for the food. I thought that was so funny. I wonder if they set that up. Well, maybe they didn't. And Nisha was looking all crazy, like she ain't want to say grace. Grandma was looking at her like, "What's wrong with you, God?" And Nisha told Jazz's grandma, that she has a problem with the church right now. And then her grandma asked, "Do you have a problem with Jesus Christ, or do you have a problem with the church?" It's with the church, right? And then Nisha was like, "Yeah, it's with the church." And then she was like, "Okay, well then close some eyes and say a prayer." I'm with Granny because Nisha told her mom earlier in the episode that she doesn't have a problem with God. She has a problem with the church. And so that shouldn't prevent her from praying to God. That's like how you have a direct relationship with God. You pray to him. And so I thought that was kind of odd that she didn't want to pray, but yeah. And then Nisha did end up praying, and she kept it like real quick. It was real quick. I don't remember what she said, but it was like 2 sentences. Okay, and then so it was actual dinner time, and the church friend who was there at the dinner, she was making Jazz's plate, and she was just piling food up on Jazz's plate. She was like piling up catfish, salad, mashed potatoes, dinner rolls. It was huge. And then it was to the point where Jazz had to stop her and just say, "Okay, I won't be able to eat all this food. It's way too much food." And she had to confess that she had been taking weight loss shots. And then after that, she confessed that she plans on getting weight loss surgery. Then, of course, her family was shocked about this. And her grandma was instantly like against it. She was like, "No, it's too risky. I don't trust it. I don't want you to do it." And so Jazz was, of course, her like she was about to cry. And I'm not with Granny on this because that surgery would be very helpful for Jazz. And so I'm not on Team Granny no more. But yeah, that's how the episode ends. And it was a lot in this episode. Very interesting, a lot to unpack. I am definitely looking forward to the next episode. Thank you so much if you made it this far. Please let me know what you thought of this review. Get to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. All right. Bye.